I want things to work out for Francis. I swear to goodness I do. And if you hear me talk, I make a Francis piece everywhere. I feel like I'm helping him. I really do feel that way. I have a relationship with his coach, Eric. I feel like this is me pitching in. Trains at Randy's gym. Randy, is a mentor and idol of mine. I feel like I'm helping. I can't just come out and shove sunshine up your ass. It's not all moonlight and canoes. There's a couple of things that we have to work through. I'm trying to keep it alive. I mean, I offer that because I'm not a naysayer, but some of the comments say that I am. Here's Chael hating on Francis again. I don't mean to. I'm trying to talk about the situations that I don't understand. I just don't understand it. You're a prize fighter. Which one's more important to you, the fight or the prize? That's a fair question, and it probably changes throughout your career. Probably does. There will be a point where the fight, to hell with everything else, I want to win this fight. Well, hey, what if I get you $2 million? You're not going to win this fight. Take a dive. Nah, I'm not saying a dive. It's kind of a just what if? What if I get you $2 million? As a matter of fact, you don't have to lose, but you won't even do it. I'm going to pay you $2 million. I'm going to sit you on the shelf, but I'm going to give somebody else your spot. What do you think? There would be a time in your life you would never touch that $2 million. Oh my God, no, put me in there. That's my fight. I'm the contender. Put me in there. Be another time in your career where you're saying, wait a minute, I could stay home. I'm going to get a check. Yeah, I'll stay home and take a check. Sure, I will. And you're not wrong. You're just at a different point in your career. And it's an interesting spot. It's a really interesting spot. I ended up in the same role as Francis, but mine wasn't by choice. Francis set out, he's not fighting by choice, contracts, and I ended up suspended. I was suspended, but that didn't just stop me. It didn't just devastate my family or my career. Clayton Hires was my trainer. It just stopped him. He has now just lost X amount of time. My managers, Mike and Jeff, they just lost X amount of time. And I felt tremendous guilt and remorse about that. It was very hard to come in and see Clayton cost myself a job, but I just cost him. He didn't do anything wrong. It's one of those spots where it's really hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And it would just seem as though all leverage would be gone for Francis. I don't know where else to fight. I don't remember, top of my head, I don't remember Scott Coker saying I'm out. I don't remember Kogan ever saying I'm out. Now, Mike Kogan did just tweet over the weekend, big news coming. That could mean absolutely anything. But I don't remember Bellator officially saying we're done. I do remember the UFC saying it. Now we have one championship saying it. I was there when Bare Knuckles Dave Feldman said it. I was sitting next to him when he said it. So you have the PFL. And I think, off memory, we still have Bellator. And before you bring in a boxing promoter or something along those lines to me, anyone that's talking to Francis right now, before they ever get there, knows he has to have a carve-out in his contract for boxing. They know that. They've been following the story. So if he's got some ins and he's got some roads and he's pursuing something with boxing, that would be subsequent to what we're discussing, which is with what leverage is he going to continue negotiations in the world of MMA? And there's a lot to the psychology that the fighter won't get. It is very, very tricky to understand the other side. Very few fighters ever become promoters. And it is a psychology that you can only ask about 10 people. There's not a lot of them out there. I'm talking about promoters. I will share with you a massive misconception. Let's say Francis looks and says, I don't care. I don't even know what you mean by this word leverage. I don't care. I talked with the UFC. It didn't work out. Look at Bare Knuckle. It didn't work out. No hard feelings. I talked with one chef. It didn't work out. That's what I do. Go around and I talk to people till I find the fit. I haven't done it yet. And when I go talk to the PFL, if it doesn't work, I don't need to be 5 other suitors to get what I want with the PFL, because they still get me, the greatest fighter in the world, the heavyweight champion who never lost. That's what they get. Knockout artist extraordinaire. That is what they get, and that is why it doesn't matter how many suitors I have. I'm still going to get what I'm coming for, and I'm going to get it from you. Or guess what? I won't come. That is going to hurt you. That is a belief. That is a psychology. I can assure you, to an extent, Francis has that right now, but I can also assure you every other fighter alive has had that, or if put in that position, would have that. So I do my best to let you know that is not how the promoter will look at it. The promoter will not look at it and say, my business would be better. My night would be better. My attention, my PR, my card, my roster will be better. They will not do that. If through the other door is my competitors don't have him either. I need you is an equal emotion, and it's an equal business decision to I don't want him to have you. They're dead even. And that's a piece that the fighters miss, or if put in the same position, would miss. And it's very important that you understand that you would have a value to pull you off the market, and you would have a value to keep it off a competitor's channel, because you are bigger and you are better than whatever I feel I could match or counter program them with. Them having you would win the night before we even get going. But if they don't have you, I don't need you. And that's the part the athlete misses. It's not all about let's sit down and let's talk so I can make you happy and I can have you. It's not. That's not all the strategy does. Did you ever follow the rise of the WWE? If you follow the rise of the WWE, then you know the rise of the UFC. You don't need to study both of them. Study one of them. You will know the other. And Lorenzo didn't hide that. Lorenzo was very open. Lorenzo didn't do a lot of interviews, but when he did do them, he would shoot with you. He would tell you perfectly straight. And Lorenzo said we studied every franchise out there, all the way up to the New York Yankees. And we decided to emulate the franchise of World Wrestling Entertainment. The buying up of the smaller organizations, just by example, what you do with that, how you fold those contracts over. Do you keep that brand around and alive, or do you fold that into something else to start to end the territory days and take over as a conglomerate? I mean, I'll just share with you if you studied it, but there was a big value. AWE, WWE, they're going through it right now. There's a massive value, not in you, but in stopping my competitor from having you. See, that's where the problem comes, and that's where a misunderstanding is. It's not down to Francis and the PFL and I can make your brand better. Their brand can stay right where it is if somehow they can succeed at not letting their competitors go back. I don't know how to say this any clearer. You can't get this anywhere. You can't get this kind of insight. You can't get anybody out there that can tell you the psychology of the fighter and the psychology of the promoter. Simply won't happen. But I brought it to you, and I'm attempting to understand it from this standpoint. I worry that it's misplayed. Maybe you have a trainer, you have managers, and they're counting on you. I think there's an obligation there. It's a business relationship, which means for the relationship to exist, business has to exist. It's one of those things. I want what's best, and I highly get confused. We're not arguing about money. What else is there to talk about? It's prize fighting. I do the fighting. You come up with the prize. I think we're all done here. You bring up these other things, and boy, it sounds like you got a good heart. Sounds like your mind's in the right place. Get a promoter's license. It's small fee in a one-page form. That's the side, and you want to go down that road, you're welcome to. But over here, I just need someone to fight. Is that you or not? If it's not you, if you need other things, why'd you take the meeting?